Hey everyone, Professor Snarty here checking in. Okay, so let's take a quick look at our due dates here. It's the morning of Tuesday, October 29th when I'm recording this, so we are just coming up on the final kind of end deadline for our group project work. You'll notice that there's just the one deadline here. There's no reply component built into Unit 8. That's actually what we're going to do in Unit 9, which I'm going to show you in just a sec here. So the whole of Unit 9 is actually replying to the group projects that were submitted here in Unit 8. So you'll notice again that just that one due date. So here's what we got going on. And I'm still kind of in the process of building this. So you'll see what that looks like. So we're going to use the tool, the Padlet tool, which lets us kind of go mobile. So you want to open this URL on your smartphone. Each student is going to post a minimum of 3 pictures here using the Padlet tool. Again, this is mobile. You do it as you're living your normal life. Don't sit at a computer. Don't Google pictures to post. Try to do it like as you discover things in, again, sort of real time as you go about your day-to-day business. So there's no assignment per se here that you would sit down and do. You kind of read through this, understand what we're doing, and then hopefully it's in the back of your mind a little bit. So the whole idea here is to have each of you individually now kind of look at the various projects that people have produced. And as I'm recording this, there's still like building being done, so they're not complete yet for the most part. But hopefully, if I've done this correctly and if it works, if we visit the Padlet, which is actually here, as opposed to just looking at it in Blackboard, you'll see that I've done a post for every group that is sort of like recorded a link or like shared their stuff with me or whatever. So if you don't see yourself here, get in touch with me so I can put your stuff up and make it available. I need to be added as an editor, so not just like someone who can view or comment. So a couple of groups here, I can see your slides, but I don't want to edit them, but I need editing access to be able to publish them to the web, which is how I get them to show up on the actual Padlet here, which is really useful for everybody else to be able to see like, okay, oh yeah, this group did Sylvia Plath, and you can actually even open up the slide deck and flip through it. So it works really nicely, actually. I'll get back to where I was. Oh, this happens to be a website, but same difference, right? You can actually get to the stuff that the group has worked on. So if your job is to, and I'm doing this kind of like within Padlet, if your job is to respond to these in some way, kind of like mobily or right in your everyday life, it really helps to have the actual stuff there so you're not trying to like remember what everybody did. So it's a really great way of getting people to kind of look at the various work that the groups have done, the poets that they've done, the poems they've chosen to analyze, kind of their personal connections. And so your job now is not to reply in kind of like the usual way we've done it with, oh, this is really great, or it made me think of, or like some like text thing that you would type. What you want to do is kind of like a quasi reply, but almost like an extension of, or this phrase here, your project made me think of. So it's kind of a more like your personal reaction to some of the stuff that the groups have put together, whether that's analysis or some of the thematic stuff that's going on in the poems, or some of their personal reactions, or maybe stuff about the poet as like a biographical figure and what they went through or when they lived or what their, kind of ethos was all about, however you want to do it. So there's really no wrong answers here. The only wrong thing to do is, again, Googling images. That's not really authentic. Don't sit at a computer. Do it mobily on your phone, kind of as you're engaging in your everyday life. Really, I think the good thing here is it makes it necessary to really engage with the material that the groups have produced, but it's also kind of like worth it then, because you get to reply in not just a paragraph of text saying what you liked or what you learned, but it's really like, oh, how does this like make me think of my own world differently now, or what connections can I make? So it's almost like growing the project a little bit within the Padlet space. So the Padlet's going to get really busy with all the students now posting multiple pictures. It's going to get kind of look crazy. Make sure that you add your name to your post really clearly, like up in the sort of title area. And then obviously you can provide some text explaining the picture you took or the thing that you've captured here on the Padlet space. But again, it's really your engagement with a few of the different projects that are posted. I think there's still maybe a couple missing. It's hard for me to account for everything, because there's just a lot going on here. But again, if you don't see your stuff, get in touch with me soon so I can get up there, and it's just so much easier for everyone else to access for our Unit 9 work here. The only other kind of like wrong-ish thing to do is if it feels like you're like right up against the deadline for handing this in, you really haven't paid attention to it, you haven't really looked at the other projects that closely, and so you just take a picture of basically anything and then like reverse engineer it into how it connects with something. It probably does. I mean, it's hard to like not connect things together, but if it just feels inauthentic, that's sort of defeating the purpose. So don't do that. So make it a real like engagement between you and the work that the groups have done here. The group work is really kind of like the analytical side, more of the researchy, like traditional here. Let's put our presentation together. But now we have an opportunity to like unpack that a little bit and sort of have some fun with it as well. Again, include your names, really, really important. 3 separate posts, not all for the same project, obviously, so kind of spread your love around a little bit. And even just do me the favor, when you post, put like your name and post number 1. So the Padlet tool is really great for doing this kind of work, but it can get really busy really quickly, and it tends to shuffle the tiles around anytime I like visit it or revisit it, or it might even do so randomly every once in a while. So it gets really hard for me to like grade because I'm like looking for each person's name and have I looked at that one and have I missed that one, so it's easy for me to screw up because of the visual presentation of the whole thing. But anyway, do me a favor, and instead of like when you do your post, write your name and post number 1, post number 2, whatever the case might be. Again, actually along those same lines, because the Padlet space is going to sort of randomize where all the posts go, even if you put something close to, let's say, Hannah, Bridget, and Amy's Robert Frost presentation here, it's going to get shuffled as more stuff gets added, as you add more stuff. So make sure that you identify who you are, which number of posts this is, and what it's responding to, because it's not going to stay in some nice location that's like close to the thing that we want. It's going to get really busy and kind of chaotic in here, which is part of what I like, actually. It just makes it hard to grade. So help me out a little bit. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it's kind of a fun way to engage with the projects and like extend them into our own lives a little bit, not just treat them as static things that we're done with now. And it's a more interesting way of doing replies than we've necessarily done before. So quick little review of due dates here. Pretty simple ones since we just have kind of the single ones going on. Finishing up and posting group work in Unit 8. And then I will try to get that Padlet as cleaned up as possible so it's ready to go. And you can basically start that anytime where your 3 kind of image replies, whatever, due Wednesday, November 6th. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, or if you notice something's kind of like not right as far as maybe a link is missing or name's wrong, or I don't know what else might be going on, just let me know and I'll try to fix it as soon as I can. All right, thanks.